Maybe you're planning on becoming a full-time comic book creator. Congratulations if you are already celebrating, but you don't have any possible foreseeable way to make an income. But I do want to talk about comics in the year 2021 and really the new 20s. I think we're moving into an age of comics. Comics have changed throughout history. I think we're moving into a new age, whether anybody likes it or not. This is just a fact of life. So before we get into it, though, check out my website. It's sweetcomicshop.com. And I mean, you can get in there and you can buy books I've already got printed. These prestige volumes are still available. Not many left, really, but Downcast 3 is coming, so you can get those there. Also, Fatal's on Indiegogo right now. Look at this, like 2 backers, maybe 3, would get us over to $93,000. Thank you for everybody that's backed this campaign. Simply amazing. Just a beautiful comic. Charlie just emailed me, actually, and showed me some of the cameo work that he's doing. He's drawing some people in that have paid to be drawn into the book. So I think you're going to be happy about it. All right. So this is posted on Twitter publicly. So we're going to look at it because it's public. Do not contact people. It just makes all of us look bad. So, but we're going to talk about this. I'm preparing to leave my day job, but need your help to do it. If you have any writing jobs available, licensed or WFH, work for hire, or need an editor, please let me know. So preparing to leave a job to do comics full-time, do writing full-time, but you have no writing job available to you, and then a little bit of a resume actually takes up less space than the ask itself, which is interesting. Anyway, my point here I want to make is I was actually watching, where is this? The Image Revolution documentary. This is on YouTube and it's free right now to watch with ads, which sounds about just like everything else on YouTube. I've seen, I feel like, countless Image documentaries, but this one was a little bit different. At first I thought, wait, haven't I seen this before? But I know I would have remembered seeing in this one, Dan Fraga was in it. You had Rich Johnson in it. Like, it was just interesting. Eric Stevenson with haircuts that I didn't ever know existed. So definitely a different documentary than I had watched before. It was interesting. It was insightful. You got to, hear some of the stuff. And it's the same kind of fairy tale story that you've heard a million times. The founding of Image Comics really is a fairy tale, the more that I step back and think about it. But it was a fairy tale of its time. And also, it's incredibly difficult to relate to Image Comics. I used to see more similarities between Image and what's happening with Comicsgate or like today, in independent comics. But the more that I look at it, there's actually some pretty stark differences that you can't compare. Like right now, what's going on in comics really is unprecedented because of the internet, because of the connection between fans and creators, and because it's such a small pool. It's actually very different. It used to be that, if you were a really good artist, if you were one of the initial 7 here from Image, they were rock stars and people called them rock stars, and they were seen on television. Everyone was talking about these sales, like just through the roof sales. They were selling millions of copies. I'm not saying millions of dollars, millions of copies. It's like 2 million, 5 million, 8 million, like looking at all the number comparisons that they laid out, it's just insane. And this was when they were working for Marvel, and then moving over to Image, they made so much money that they could just blow it essentially. And in Rob Liefeld's case, he did just that. So the interesting thing here is it's such a shift to today, because I think that there are some all-star comic book artists. I think there's some fantastic writers out there, and I think the most interesting stuff is happening in independent comics. However, the differences they're huge, and that is that it's become more of a cottage industry. It's not like this big thing where you're hiring staff. You have a studio filled out with staff. All these creators, even very big creators, I don't know that they're hiring staff just to produce comics and to get books out the door. I haven't seen that anyway. I think you boy Zach or Ethan Van Sciver are the two that are hiring probably the most people to produce things and get things shipped out. But even then, it's just extremely small compared to what Image was doing. And that's actually a good thing. It's the personal touch from creators to their fans. So if you're looking at quitting your job to do comics full time, I'm not sure that there are really going to be viable options there. And if there are options, they're only going to be creating your own stuff, doing totally create your own stuff and not looking for somebody else to give you a job. This is actually, kind of a new thing in the world. The idea that in comics, in the creative world, somebody is going to just give you a job and pay you to do things. That's how it's going to work. Before Marvel, before Stan Lee, before like the comics as they have become to be known so well, comics were not about superheroes all the time. They're about a whole bunch of different things. I've just got a few examples here. I was thinking the 1920s, 100 years ago, what were they making comics about and how are they making comics? And they were made a little bit more like how novels are made. They were just made. There weren't big production companies. So, it wasn't the expectation that there was going to be big production companies that would, take care of everything, and that they owned all the IP and that they would be hiring you to do work and then move on. Now there's always work for hire. There's always, that kind of, factors in, but people were also not paid very well to do comics. People haven't always been rock stars and making millions of dollars doing comics. So why expect anything different? So my suggestion is for comics current year, forget about the politics of everything. Just because comics are changing doesn't mean it needs to be some kind of political fight. That's where so many people working in comics have gone wrong. Accept it. Accept the fact that things are changing. Comics have changed and gone through, major shifts in the past. And, why not have it do it again? Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. So you could jump on board, accept it, and sort of look at it more as a cottage industry and thrive there. Thrive in it. It can be a really good thing, actually. So why not? Anyway, those were just some of my thoughts on the comic book industry right now. If you have any writing jobs available that will allow me to quit my job full time, just let me know. All I need is that one job. And don't forget to check out Fatal and also my website, Sweetcomics, sweetcomicshop.com. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.